My name is Fletcher Wimbush. I'm the CEO of Discover, a performance hiring software. Today I want to talk about working interviews. This is a lost art, I first say. Very few organizations do this, and it is probably one of the most impactful things that you can do to help predict future outcomes in the hiring process. Why are they so helpful? Well, working interviews are an opportunity to engage with candidates in a way that no interview, assessment, or reference check can ever truly give you all the full picture of. So it's actually getting them into your environment, having them work, having them rub elbows with the people that their coworkers, their bosses, the other people there, so that you can actually observe how they operate and they get to observe how you operate. So working interviews help do two things. One, helps you eliminate that dreaded feeling that when you hire somebody on the very first day and they show up, and I'm pretty sure most of us have experienced this, and you go, oh boy, I think I might have made a terrible mistake. Solves that problem really, really well. Oh, guess what? It solves that problem for the person you just hired as well. Unfortunately, sometimes it's you, not them, that's having that feeling. And either way, whoever's having that feeling, we want to eliminate that. And working interviews are a fantastic way to do that. So here's a couple of things. So working interviews can be challenging because you need to create a structure. They're custom to you and your organization. Having a great partner like us or a great consultant can help you structure or create a repeatable working interview. So particularly for jobs that you are hiring for all the time. Now, sometimes you have a one-off job, a key executive role. We'll talk about that a little bit. We will need to create a custom plan for that. Or maybe you have a job that you've never hired for. So we're going to address these kind of three different topics and some of the different types of working interviews that are commonly seen. The first one is the kind of the simplest. You bring the person in, you have a task that you can teach them to do in, 10, 15, 30 minutes. So somebody shows them, they demonstrate the task, they provide them the SOPs, the written documentation, the instructions on how to complete the task. And it's a task that they can get done, or a portion of the task they can get done in a few hours, probably 2 to 4 hours, something in that kind of time frame. And then you set them at it, let them go, right? And part of that is you always want to make sure there's instructions. Hey, look, candidate and person, you can ask any questions that you want. You have been given the instructions in hopefully multiple different formats. So this is a very repeatable version too, right? So you have one person who's always doing the instruction. You have written documentation. You're providing this to the individual. They go out and they complete the task. And they should be encouraged to interact with anybody and everybody that might be relevant to helping them complete that task. Because now we get to see their communication skills, we can see the kinds of questions that they ask. We just get to see how they begin to work and interact with others on the team, and vice versa, how those people are interacting with them. And ultimately, we get to then evaluate the work product that they performed. And so if they didn't ask any questions, or they were kind of like mean or grumpy, and then their work product didn't come out very well. Look, this is the best they're ever gonna be, right? So obviously we're gonna look for the opposite in that, and they're gonna be very interactive, communicative. They're gonna be kind and friendly to their coworkers or potential colleagues or their boss. And then the work product should be superior to what most people can produce in their first day of work. In some cases, like really technical roles, so like engineers, whatever, mechanical, software, marketing people who do like SEO or AdWords, or anybody who's doing something more technical or even more creative. It could be like designers. The list goes on, but I think you get the picture there. So these types of people, it is often good to give them a project. And that project could be 4 to 16-hour type of project. I don't know. You pick the number, right? Hopefully it's something that you can use, like a landing page or, I don't know, an AutoCAD design, whatever it might be. But it's going to be something fairly useful. Even better, it's something that can be done over and over again, right? So like every single marketing person I have, we have them build the same landing page, and then we can compare the results. So it's an equal opportunity to work. Also, the same rules apply to the working interview when you bring them in. Now, it would be nice, in this case, this is often something they do at home or they do on their own time. If I can bring them into the office to do it, even better. But it does work really well for kind of this remote situation. But you want the same rules apply. You want to have some guidelines. You want to have some expectations. You want to have an introduction to the project. You want to allow for a two-way conversation. And throughout the project, you want to allow for opportunities for feedback and check-ins and to have that communication. And the same things like we did with the other version. If they don't ask any questions and it's a disaster, then you know what you're going to get here moving forward. So that's a great one for those types of situations. My favorite is our tax accounts. They sanitize a tax return. They have the person evaluate it, coming in from their old tax preparer, and they'll actually create their first interaction with the client. They'll evaluate the tax return coming from the old firm. It's all sanitized, all the sensitive information, and it's their job to then evaluate and make recommendations to the client about what they would do moving forward with their tax strategy, and then to write that up and then verbally communicate. So you get the whole trifecta of what you would do as a tax accountant. So, but it's the same exercise every single time. So now we can measure people on the same activity. So the last one that you can do, in some cases, you may have to go this way. I see this for like field workers or maybe sometimes construction or more manual labor where maybe I can't quite train or get them the right safety gear to actually be able to perform the job, but I can at least have them do a job shadow so they can observe somebody else doing the job for a prolonged period of time. Again, 2 to 4 hours or longer. All of these three tactics are really great and can be used, again, as I pointed out, in different types of roles to help begin to make sure that you've got the right person who can do that job, who's going to learn and adapt, is a good work product, and secondly, make sure that person's going to be comfortable doing the job, and they're going to like doing it. If the job's a bunch of cold calls and they come in the first day and they got to make 4 hours of cold calls, and they get out of that and they're like, oh boy, yeah, I don't want to do that, right? Then you just save everybody a bunch of time and effort. I get asked this quite a bit. Do you have to pay people for this? Yes, frankly, right? It's worth every penny of it. Now, it's a flat rate for the project, it's a flat rate for the day, just as long as you pay them more than minimum wage, you don't work overtime, and you give them breaks and lunches, then you're good. Yeah, same things apply. But it's worth every single penny of it. Like you might spend, especially in frontline workers, a couple $100 for the day, or even high-level workers, it might be a $1,000 project or a $3,000 project. But it's worth it than having to bring the person in, integrate them into your organization, only to find out that they were not capable or didn't want to be in this environment. I also always like to take these people out to lunch. So now you get this kind of social opportunity. It also gives you an opportunity to introduce these people to all of their coworkers, other bosses, departments, show them around the facility. So now you're getting to learn more about how they behave, whether they're going to be a culture fit, how they're going to interact with others, and also giving the other people in the team an opportunity to get a sneak peek at their new potential coworkers, right? So this is a great way to really just begin to spend some time with this person and just answer all the little questions that they have and you have can begin to get answered here. So it's a really, really powerful thing that you can do. And again, it helps you avoid that, oops, I made a mistake on the very first day. Lastly, you're hiring for a role that you've never hired before, or you're hiring for, say, a key executive. Definitely, you don't want to pay for this, but it might even be a multi-step process. You might come in a couple of times, and we do this a lot of times with key executives. You bring them in, you explain to them the challenges and the opportunities, the reason why you're hiring this person. So you're essentially going through your SWOT analysis with them for the job, for the purpose of the job. So I'm hiring my first VP of sales. Well, why are we doing this? Well, what opportunity are we trying to capture, or what problems are we trying to solve, or both? What opportunities we want to capture and problems we want to solve, right? You're giving them an opportunity to interview, investigate, to essentially audit what's currently going on. And in return, you have them provide and have them create their onboarding plan, provide some guidance into how they think they should work towards or move towards helping the organization achieve its goals by fulfilling that role. So they essentially write their own onboarding plan, training plan, create their own business plan for their role during the hiring process. So this is a fantastic way when you're hiring for roles that you have no familiarity with to figure out whether you're comfortable or not, and to create that onboarding plan, the training plan, the rocks for how their performance will be evaluated in the future, especially before you didn't have any idea. So working interviews, hopefully you're starting to see and envision the power and how they help make predictive hires and protect everybody involved, the candidate and yourselves, from that oops, I made a huge mistake feeling that always turns into a huge costly disaster, right? Stops you from hiring, stops you from recruiting. Now you're delayed. They false start 2 weeks into the job. It's now you've lost, potentially weeks, if not months of time. And obviously, that person's left with a bad taste in their mouth. So it really solves that problem. Also helps you get a really good flavor of whether they're going to be great at the job. You've got the 4 major techniques. You've got, giving them a task. You've got project. You've got the job shadow technique, and you've got the write your own job description technique. I maybe like to call that with the unknown version. So using those 4 techniques to design, hopefully, a repeatable or a one-off working interview, definitely going to make a huge impact in improving your hiring outcomes. If this was helpful for you today, I encourage you to subscribe, like, share, comment, ask some questions. Happy to jump in there and answer those. I know this is kind of sometimes hard to get your head around, so let's have a conversation about it, and we'll look forward to seeing you in our next videos.